Hi, my name's Jacqueline and I'm from Hacklip.
And my name's Naomi and I'm from St. Alice.
We're here in the kitchen at NVIT's Merritt campus in Inkalakmuk territory to share some recipes!
So in today's video, we're going to be sharing how to make some of our favorite Rez specialties and some cool ways to make them even healthier and tastier.
Today, we're gonna make Katie and hot dogs.
Yum! My favorite thing about Katie and hot dogs is, honestly, sometimes when you come home after a busy day at school or work, all you want to do is make a quick dinner. So that's what we're going to be making today.
Yum. We like to take the extra stuff though. The box directions are just the basics. Feel free to add whatever you'd like to make it more delicious and nutritious. Today we're going to be adding roasted cauliflower and roasted squash to the recipe to add a little more nutritional value to it.
Adding to these meals can help add vitamins and minerals to help keep your body strong and fight off sickness, such as vitamin C, which helps boost your immune system and helps heal cuts, vitamin K and calcium, which helps keeps your bones strong, magnesium keeps your muscles working, and adds fiber, which is important for digestion and keeps you feeling full longer.
So the ingredients for today's recipe are, of course, margarine, hot dogs, butternut squash, canola oil, cauliflower, and lactose-free milk, because you know how it is. Before we get started, we're going to give the cauliflower a quick wash. Ama!
For equipment that you will need a medium-sized pot with a matching lid, but not necessary, baking sheet, a spoon or spatula, a knife, a whisk if you're fancy, a measuring cup, and a piece of parchment paper.
First things first, wash your hands. Now that our hands are clean, we can start with our prep work. When cutting round vegetables like this, it's helpful to make your initial chops to create flat sides so it won't roll around when you're handling a sharp knife. Because we're going to be mashing these up later, don't worry about peeling off the skin now or making uniform chunks. Just a rough chop is perfect. Oops! Always make sure that you catch yourself with your fingertips out while using knives and use the claw. Tuck those fingertips in and chop away from yourself. Much better. The pro move would have been to scoop out this pith with a spoon before we chopped it. Oops, we can cut around it though.
Cauliflower is much easier to chop than squash, but never worry about asking for help from friends and family if you aren't confident with your knife skills yet. All we have to do is trim away bits of the leaves, use a small paring knife, and remember to cut away from your hand.
And always remember, the claw. Just roughly chop your cauliflower into slices, and then a rough chop to make 1-inch chunks. Now add them to the tray with your squash, drizzle with oil, and toss so everything is a little coated. Roast your squash and cauliflower for at least 40 minutes at 400 degrees until the squash gets a darker color and becomes soft, and there are crispy spots on your cauliflower. Once they finish roasting, place the tray somewhere safe to cool and turn off your oven.
Now it's time to make our pasta. Find a pot that's big enough. We're only going to fill it halfway. This way, the heat will work faster, and when we add our ingredients, the water won't spill over and risk burning us. Once our pot of water is on the burner, we'll turn the heat to high. It's good practice to only turn on heat once your pan or pot is on the burner. It'll keep people from accidentally touching the hot element and can prevent fires. Now we put a lid on the pot and wait. You can boil water without a lid, but keeping it covered makes it boil much faster because it traps heat from escaping, which helps the burner out. Not only does it make the water boil faster, it'll save energy because the stove won't have to run as long. Let's get our hot dogs ready. Because preparing the KD is pretty simple and fast, we're getting a lot of the extra parts finished early. Washing our hands again, because we're going to be handling food directly. The KD serves 2 to 3 people, so we'll slice up 2 hot dogs to add to it. As usual, the claw. Fingertips are tucked in, and we are paying attention as we slice and chop. The claw is good because it keeps your fingertips under your knuckles and your knuckles above where your knife is cutting. But we're still mindful not to let the knife get too close to our hand as we're chopping. Because hot dogs are soft, easy to slice, and uniform in size, they're great to use to practice knife skills. If you're using metal pots and pans, always be careful when you're moving handles or lids. They can get super hot. Make sure to wear some oven mitts or even a tea towel to protect your hands.
And make sure to keep your handles tucked in and not out in people's paths. If someone walks into the food, it can spill all over.
Now, to cook our hot dogs. Turn the pan's burner to medium-low and add just a little bit of oil. As it heats up, it will spread out farther. Once your pan has heated up enough that the oil is spreading easily, and if you put your hand above the bottom it feels warm, add your hot dogs. Once we see the water is at a rolling boil, meaning there are tons of bubbles, we'll reduce the heat to medium or 5, depending on the dial you have. Rolling boil is a good indicator our water is hot enough to cook, and reducing heat to medium will maintain that temperature. Take off the lid, and after you take the cheese package out of the box, pour in the noodles. According to the box, we'll cook the noodles for 6 to 8 minutes. Once your noodles are in, don't leave your pot. Once you add food to boiling water, the temperature will drop for a bit, but once it rises again, it can overboil on the stove and make a big mess. Don't leave your boiling noodles alone, and stir frequently to keep this from happening.
It's okay to take breaks from the noodles to stir up your hot dogs as long as you can still see the pot. If you feel overwhelmed having more than one pot of food on the go, that's okay. Asking someone to help you out while you cook is totally normal and a great way to spend time together.
The brown spots on the hot dog slices means they are getting nice and crispy. This will be a really nice contrast with the soft and smooth noodles and sauce.
Time to make our super sauce.
If you don't have a blender for your squash and cauliflower, you can just mash them. It doesn't have to be super smooth.
The box directions call for 1/3 of a cup of milk, but because we're adding these dry vegetables, we will need to add more moisture to make sure the cheese powder is still saucy. For now, we'll just add 1/3 of a cup to make this mixture smoother. When it's time to add the cheese powder, we can add a little extra and decide how much is enough.
The box directions say the noodles take 6 to 8 minutes to cook, and it's been about 7. They're perfect. Before we take the pot off the stove, we turn off the burner. This way, there are no open flames or hot spots that could potentially burn someone.
Remember, metal pots and pans heat up. Protect yourself with oven mitts or tea towels. Use both hands when you're carrying hot food. The last thing you want to do is drop it by accident. Now we're straining out all the water and just leaving our perfect noodles.
We just need a tablespoon of margarine for the noodles. This and the milk give enough moisture for the cheese sauce powder to turn into a sauce.
Once the noodles are strained and we've added margarine, we'll scoop in our squash and cauliflower mixture. Give it a good little stir to start to coat the noodles.
Because we're adding extra ingredients to the recipe, you might find that the KD looks drier than it ought to at first. But recipes are always flexible. You can always get creative by adjusting seasonings and ingredients to suit your taste.
Because we're noticing the sauce is pretty dry, we're just going to add a splash of milk to get the right texture and consistency. Just be careful and add a little bit at a time. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't take it out.
Now that it's looking perfect, let's plate it up and serve.
Woohoo!
All right, we're gonna do a bit of a taste test, and we'll let you know how it is. Oh. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's good.
That was really good.
I'm going in for another. Give me that weenie.
So my weenie.
You can really taste the squash.
Mm-hmm.
It is delicious. Mm-hmm.
Delicious. You don't even taste the vegetables.
No. You wouldn't know that there's cauliflower in there at all. So if you're someone who's not a fan of vegetables, you wouldn't know it's in there.
Let's use ketchup.
Ooh.
With the ketchup.
Fresh tomatoes would add a nice pop.
Or ketchup.
Or ketchup. Anyway, see you later.
Okay, wait a minute.